All right. We are week three of the kind of preseason talk here. We are 12 days out from the big draft. How we feeling, boys?
Ready, pumped,
All
want to
right.
do it.
Better than ever.
Better
More
than ever.
confident than ever.
Good. That's what I like to hear. Yeah, Sunday, September 3rd. We've narrowed down the time at 4, right? I think Tanner said we kind of get there by noon. Unfortunately, we lost Derek though. Derek will be doing it online now. So it'll just be nine out of the 10 of us. But yeah, still pretty good, right? Still got most of us, still got our out of towners, and yeah, still should be a good time here. Um, this week, when it's our final what's on someone's brain, and Dev gets to pick the topics, the two or three things that kind of is on his brain. So I'm just gonna give it over to Dev and see what he's been thinking about when it comes to fantasy football.
Um,
Sounds about right so far.
yeah, right. Did I nail it? Yeah, so it's actually kind of funny, what was, I did this a couple days ago, and what was on my brain was, I've been thinking about this whole JT situation and Josh
Yeah,
Jacobs. We saw that, they're finally coming back to camp and like, okay, I'm gonna play now or whatever, or just at least report. And then yesterday the news came out with JT that they're like, hey, go ahead, go explore some trades. And then I was just like, God damn it. And started getting brought up in the chat. I was just like, don't talk too much about it, whatever. But um, I'm just kind of curious, so they're back now, and my mind instantly goes to, where it's been for a while now. I just, along with everybody else, I want to know how this first round is going to go. So I'm kind of curious, with more news on them coming out, where people are thinking about them, if they will be in the first round and maybe they'll fall a little bit. I don't know. Just kind of rattling my brain on that. So
yeah, I like it. That has also been on my brain. I like it, man.
yeah, so you just don't know, but or maybe he gets traded and I don't know, to the Vikings, of course. Um, another number two is actually we were just talking a little bit beforehand, and more trades before the draft. What are we at? 8 trades now?
7 or 8.
Seven
Seven
or
or
eight?
eight. Yeah, yeah.
So not only that, because it's been a little quiet on that front for a little while. Not only that, but any drafts made on draft day,
Hell
whether it be
yeah.
before the draft, you may switching some things around, or afterwards, after a couple of adult beverages. So that's, I was kind of thinking about that.
Yeah, love it.
And then the last thing, you know, and I might need your help here a little bit, Matt. I love pizza. I do. So last year's pizza bet count. Do you remember how many we had last year?
I don't off the top of my
I,
head,
I
but
was
we were about one a week though. So I'd
okay.
guess
I
maybe
was
like 15-ish,
I
you
was gonna
know?
go back to the rewatch some episodes to see if there was a number in there, but I'm curious if we'll top last year's pizza bet count this year, and how many we're gonna have. So we'll see. Depends on how scared people are, but
I love it, buddy. I
yeah,
love I love all three of them, right?
that's
The
kind of where
pizza,
my brain's at.
yeah, I dig it. I dig it. Thank you for opening up your brain and sharing it with us. I dig it, man. Yeah, the pizza bet thing, like people definitely got into it last year, right? But that doesn't mean it carries over into this year. I hope it does, right? I do,
We
but
Time will tell.
time will tell. Yeah,
I
I
love
I
pizza.
will definitely be making pizza bets. That's for sure.
Free pizza is the best pizza. So
It is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, JT Jacobs. Yeah, draft day trades, or trades that happened before the draft. Like we're getting down to the wire, buddy.
I'm curious if there's gonna be some more that sneak their way in there or not.
Oh, I feel like most people are pretty locked in, right? Outside of like injury and stuff. But I could see one or two taking place, and post draft, like I guarantee one's gonna happen. That
For
just
sure.
that's just how we work,
We got 12 days this league. We'll see.
For sure. For sure, for sure. All right. Our next on the docket is we talk about every year, right? I think we should just have the conversation, us three, and just kind of see where it goes, if it goes anywhere. But the tanking, right, at the end of the year, right? I think it's always brought up. It's always a hot button, right? What can we do about it? Is there anything that we can do about it, right? Let's try to revisit last year a little bit, right? Like last year we had like 5 or 6 trades, right? Before the trade deadline. Last year was our first year we had a trade deadline. It was like after week 12. I think Etienne and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Chase and Traylon Burks and I don't know. I'm missing someone, right? Olave, right? Like different people all got kind of moved. Thinking back on last year, like what are we thinking with kind of the tanking? How's everyone feeling about all that?
Well, I think it's pretty clear that there was tanking involved, right? I mean,
sure.
Obviously. So, and I get that people were, doing what they could to move some pieces around and, get what they could, but we just cannot have another McCaffrey, Jefferson, RB1, receiver 1 trade for ETN. Regardless of like the keeper value, like you can't give somebody that type of value in the middle of a season. Like one of those guys, okay. 2 of them, I don't think so. Especially now Craig isn't even keeping him. He traded him away. So it's like that makes it even worse. And it's like a lot of these trades that happen, and I think there does need to be some talk of barring injury, barring anything crazy. Like if you make a move for a guy, you have to keep them. Like, because otherwise, I could just be giving away guys I don't think we're colluding to the point where,
No.
Dev's getting money on the side. No one does that, but like, you cannot, I've talked about it with you, Matt. I know maybe just do like player for player, like 1 for 1, like no 2 for 1s, I just, if it was McCaffrey for ETN, I could have gotten behind that. I wouldn't have bitched.
Sure.
But like when you're getting rid of both of them, and I forgot the Marcus one exactly, but at least like, and I think he got rid of Diggs and Jacobs.
Yep.
For Chase.
For Chase. Yeah.
And that's tough too, because Diggs was like receiver 3 and Jacobs was like running back 2. And granted, he's getting the best keeper, and and it's not a terrible trade straight up, but ETN for Jefferson and McCaffrey is the worst trade of all time. Like if you put that online, your league is going to be exposed.
What do you think, Dev? Let's hear someone else's perspective.
No, I can't complain with that. It makes sense.
Yeah, and I get all of it, right? Like looking at all of it is tough. And I think it's like small tweaks that we can maybe make, right? Like I don't know if it's like you have to keep someone, right? I struggle with that as far as like
because you could essentially move them.
You can move them, right? Or that person could get hurt. Like what if ETN tears his ACL? Like
right. I like barring
it just I know. Sure. Yeah. Or you could move him, and Craig thought he got a fine trade with ETN, which he did, and like he had some other people, right? It's just like,
sure, how
do we have a little bit more accountability, right? And like, hey, last year was our first year, right? Was it just like we had a big shock, right? And like, people kind of learned from the first year, right? Like I'm struggling with all that,
Right. I don't think anything like that is going to happen, because I do think value, like keeper value, is diminishing every year. Like it's going to be a while before we see another Jamar Chase value.
For sure.
Like I don't think we're going to see someone make that type of move. And I do think people learned from it last year, but it's, I like you said, I think we're taking little steps, like moving the trade deadline up another week. I think that helps.
Yeah.
Maybe we can figure something out where there's like one protected guy per team where you just cannot trade. Like you should not be able to trade Jefferson at the end of the year. Like it can, if he's receiver one or what,
Yeah.
there has to be those players where like tanking comes into play.
Yeah. And I think my thought with having this conversation right now is just to throw it out there, right? And we will talk about it as a group before the
For sure.
draft, right?
I'm sure it's gonna get brought up after.
Like it'll be brought up.
after people watch
I don't want to
episode.
have a big texting war about it, right? Like that's not what I'm trying to
Agreed.
do here, right? Like let's just get all
Too
9 of us.
bad.
Let's get 9 of us in a room. Let's figure it out, right? Moving the trade deadline up a week, or can we like make the punishment a little bit more, right? Like can that person also have to like buy the keg next year or some shit, like something where
Not the pube thing. That was just a funny video. We're not doing that.
That was not a funny video.
we're not doing.
I thought it was funny, but also very morbid. Yes, it was
I thought it was funny, but yeah, it was a lot. Also,
it's pretty fucked up.
It was. Yeah, I just wanted to have it a little bit. I think.
Sorry to rant, but it's gonna happen in person too.
And you're not the person. You're not the only person that feels that way, right? So like to hear that voice in the room is solid. Yeah, we're all on the same page. We are for sure. So last week we did AFC players. This week we are going to do NFC players. We're going to talk through players we like and dislike and wild card. I can start us off here. Player that I like NFC is Brandon Ayuk. He's going wide receiver 27, right? I think he's just solid, man. Like I get the whole lot of mouths to feed with Kittle and Devo and McCaffrey, but like, dude's solid, and like
He's
it's
really
just
good.
He's really freaking good, man. Like watch him run a route, like he is really freaking good. Going in like the 5th-ish round, 6th round, like I'm happy if he's like my wide receiver 2, and I just kind of load up on some other positions. I think he's really freaking good and being a little bit undervalued. I have him a little bit higher than wide receiver 27, but not too much.
I agree.
Player I dislike, TJ Hawkinson, and it's just like tight end 3, like because of the last half year of last year, he's now tight end 3. Like that I just don't get that shit. Like we've had 5 years of TJ Hawkinson, and he has been okay. 4 years, maybe 4 years of TJ Hawkinson. He's been okay, but now he's going in like the 3rd, 4th round. He's tight end 3 guaranteed, and I see him similarly to guys going after like Waller and Kittle and Goddard and like all that, and they're all going 20, 30 picks later, so. And I just like Jordan Addison that much, so I'm not going to go TJ Hawkinson and Jordan. My wild card, another tight end. I got to go back to the well. Finally, not like going to the 2nd round like crazy people, but he's tight end 6. Kyle Pitts is my wild card.
That's a great wild card.
It really is.
He's a wild card because he's a freaking crazy athlete, dude. Like just a great athlete, but like has never put it together. Right? And like, is Desmond Ridder good? We don't know, right? Are they going to even throw the ball? We don't know, right? But like,
gotta throw to someone.
But like when they do throw the ball, it should go to Pitts, we think, but it really hasn't happened yet. And I think tight end 6 is fair. I'm more likely to go after Pitts as tight end 6 than Hawkinson at tight end 3. That's for sure.
Agreed.
That's just kind of my draft strategy. So who wants to go next here? Christian, Dev?
I can go.
Yeah, go for it.
Sure. So player I like, kind of in that same grouping, maybe a little bit higher than Ayuk. I did consider Ayuk before you after you'd already taken him, but DJ Moore, obviously no surprise. I'm a big Fields guy this year. I think the talent was always there in Carolina. He showed it even with the bad quarterback play. And now you put him in an offense that's going to feature him, with a quarterback that has more promise than any quarterback Carolina had. I like DJ Moore. Obviously, we've seen, a little flash in the preseason when he takes a screen 60 yards of the house. He's going to be a lot of fun. Typically, we've seen, when good receivers go to new teams, they typically perform. So DJ Moore is definitely on my radar. Obviously, I don't want to like give away all my whole hand. There are other guys I like, but DJ Moore is 100% on my radar. Guy I dislike, no surprise. We've talked about it in previous shows, Bijan Robinson. And it's kind of similar with you to Hawkinson, where RB3, he's never taken an NFL snap in the regular season. And I'm just supposed to think that a guy from Atlanta is going to, show up and, be RB3, like in the likes of McCaffrey and Eckler. And, I don't get that. I know the potential's there. I know how talented he is. I get that, but
yeah,
same thing with Pitts. It's like, I don't trust the offense, and if they get down, yeah, I mean, he can catch the ball out of the backfield, but I mean, God, it's just,
isn't RB3 his ceiling?
It has, I mean,
right. Like
that has to be like his,
isn't that his ceiling?
His maximum ceiling.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah. I just think taking him around, I mean, like, this is a rookie. You're taking him over guys like Saquon, who had 1 billion yards and like double-digit touchdowns, and you're taking him over Nick Chubb, who's the most consistent running back in football, and you're taking him over guys like Derrick Henry, who have destroyed the league for years, and JT, who might go play for the Chiefs or the Bears or somebody, like. I don't know. I don't know. I am not a huge fan of that value, so I'll leave it at that.
I get it.
And then my wild card, I like this one because I look at him like being super undervalued right now. Is Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
Like Deebo Samuel was a 2nd round pick last year. Like I get he had an off year, but he's still a guy that can run the ball, catch the ball, creative offense. He's still probably the most talented player on that offense. I mean, between him and McCaffrey, probably. So I think him being in that like DJ Moore tier, like DK Metcalf tier, T Higgins tier, I think he's a clear tier above that, in my personal opinion. But he's got to stay healthy. So that's my wild card. Yeah, that's my wild card for me. So Dev, you have the floor.
For sure. I like them all.
I love that. Except for Bijan, obviously. RB1. Yeah, so again, the guy, I did this a couple days ago. The guy I liked was Terry McLaurin, but he went and got some turf toe last night, apparently, or something like that. They had him at wide receiver 22. I feel like every year he's a guy that kind of flies under the radar, just not really a sexy pick, but we know he's good. And I'm kind of I'm a big Dotson guy, so it's kind of hard to put his name, but I'm kind of intrigued by Sam Howell. I kind of I think he's better than the QBs they've had in the past, and I really like that. McLaurin might fall a little bit further, and people might let him fly under the radar. So that was a guy I really liked. I don't know how bad this toe thing is, but we'll see, I guess. So my dislike, I don't know if it's just because he's a Packer or what, but I put Christian Watson. Maybe it's Jordan Love. Maybe I just don't trust him. Maybe I just think that offense is gross, aside from Aaron Jones. But I don't know where I really sit with him. I was talking with Matt a little bit. Maybe he could be more of a wild card guy because we're just not too sure. But
he was in the running with Pitts for my wild card.
Yeah,
like I almost put Watson as my wild card, but I get it. If you just don't like it and you don't believe it last year, I get it.
I think I'm just out on him this year, and I'm proud. I could easily be proven wrong. So he put up some a couple decent games last year. So I don't know. Then my wild card, I think we've had this discussion before. Alexander Madison, keeping it local here. I don't know. Part of me is just like career backup. That's it.
Mm.
But at the same time, there seems to be a lot of people that really like him and expect big things. They said that they're going to give him the rock and feed him. So I just don't really know. They had RB23 right now. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure. You know, obviously he's being kept, but I'm not really sure how I feel about that situation.
I mean,
Maybe I'll grow to like him and send Roddy a trade. I don't know.
he might be bad and he scores 10 touchdowns, right? Like
Right.
I feel like both things can be true,
That
you know?
yeah,
Yeah, interesting, man. I like the list. I do. Watson, I struggle with. Like, do I like him? Do I not like him? Like,
I
yeah,
actually considered putting Watson as a guy I like. So
okay,
there you go.
yeah,
okay.
I did. I did consider it.
I
It's
The
all
get
thing
it.
yours, buddy.
is,
I get it.
I can't say that I like him because I don't know Jordan Love yet. Like
Sure.
That
I
and he
don't
might be the
give a
question
shit-
mark here. Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
give a
for sure.
shit what Jordan Love does in the preseason. You know, like
Right.
Yeah,
he's got to do it in a game. But
yeah. No, I
no,
get all that.
there were a lot. I found the list way harder for NFC than AFC. NFC has a lot of good skill players.
Yeah,
A
a lot of main men already. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I get that. Awesome. Well, next week's kind of a big show. Next week we are predicting our first round, right? We're gonna go through all 10 picks and kind of see what we think the first round possibly looks like. Right. And then if ESPN allows it, I got double check. I found this website that would also like switch up our schedules, right? And maybe we'll do that also. I feel like I've had the same schedule for 10 years now, right? I have always played Devin week one, and Christian had always played Marcus week one. And I just looked at ESPN and saw that the same thing was happening again, right? So I saw like a football guy's website that we can kind of like randomize it and do it all online and kind of see who we have and who we play against week one and talk about that a little bit before we get into the first round. So
Are
yeah,
you're tired of the week one ass whooping or what? Getting sick of it?
so I hope I randomize it and still get you week one. Is kind of what I'm is what
I
I'm
would
hoping.
love
So we'll get at it next week. 12 days until the big day. I can't wait, dude. It's hard not to think about the draft every single day. So
that. I'm excited.
For
It's gonna be
sure.
so much fun.
for
Yeah.
sure. So we'll
I'm
get
glad
back
we
at
got
it.
time established too. That'll be a lot of fun getting there at a good time and getting the draft started and still have plenty of night afterwards. So
Yeah, it'll be a long day and a long night. That's for sure. So all right, boys. See you next week. Have a good one.
yeah.
See you
thanks
later.
a lot.